Hey everyone, Xander here from XS Gaming Podcast, and you know what? I did a video last week of a pickups video, and at the very end I was asking, maybe for a possible Q&A video, and I was just asking all my viewers to send me a question, an inbox comment, didn't matter, and it was one of those things I was just shooting against the wind. I didn't think that anyone would actually want to know anything or anything like that, but I was very surprised that I did actually get some questions, and really good questions too. So I got my little cheat sheet here of some of the questions I got, and also I want to put a description below of some of the people that asked me these questions, because they do have some awesome YouTube channels, and you guys should definitely check them out. The first question I got was from Ultramat01. And he actually asked two questions, but the first question was, what game franchises are some of your favorites? Now, I'm a huge Mega Man fan. I love Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. There's so many series that I absolutely love. I love Resident Evil, stuff like that. But I'm also a huge Castlevania fan. Except for that one. I really don't like that one. I like to pretend like that one never exists. What was that just came up? I don't know. The next question he asked was, is there a game that you didn't like as a kid, but you like now as an adult? Now I thought this was a really good question, because a lot of video game channels I watch, and I'm guilty of it as well, we love to kind of thrive on nostalgia and talk about games that we loved as a kid, or games that we bought now that we always wanted to play as a kid. Well, we don't really talk too much about how our gaming tastes have changed over the years. Now, a game that comes to mind that I didn't like as a kid that I liked as I got older was actually Metroid. And I've actually heard this from other gamers when I've talked to them, was, when I played the first Metroid, I was very used to linear stage-based video games like Mario or the first Castlevania or Contra, stuff like that. And when I was playing Metroid, it had such a non-linear gameplay where it was just exploration. I didn't get that when I was a kid. I just thought it was like a really long stage. I'm sitting there playing it, and I'm like, okay, is this over? I just couldn't get it. It wasn't until I got Super Metroid and I was a little older and I started reading more video game magazines that I realized that this game wasn't a linear stage-based game, but a game that you explored and you kind of just went and created basically your own levels and went through it. So as I got older, I really enjoyed Metroid, but as a kid, didn't like it. The next question was from Billy Bobby. He doesn't have a channel, but he subscribed to me and he asked the question. Sorry, man, I really like that name, Billy Bobby. But he was asking me if I could own any arcade cabinet, what would I own? I'm torn between, if I had the choice of any arcade cabinet, of course I would pick a main cabinet so I could have all these wonderful arcade games. But if I had to choose a specific arcade cabinet, I'm torn between having a Donkey Kong cabinet, 'cause that's one of my favorite arcade games, or Mortal Kombat 2, because to me that's one of the best fighting games ever made. And NES Goomba was asking me what was something I overpaid for, and I knew I was overpaying for, but I just bought it anyway. Now, I'm pretty cautious about buying my video games. I really try to look for deals and stuff, but every once in a while I might pay for something. I'm like, man, I should just waited. And it's mostly with new video games. I don't really buy games when they first come out. I usually wait and see what the big fuss is, and then I might go and buy it. But I do have my exceptions. But Resident Evil 6, I played the demo. The demo was decent, and I was just kind of debating if I wanted to buy it the day it came out because I had it reserved, or if I just wanted to wait and save that $5 and put it towards something else. And I wish I didn't spend a whole $60 on it, because it went down in 3 months. It was already $30. So and I still don't. I love Resident Evil, but this is definitely the weakest link in my opinion. I really don't like Resident Evil 6. And my buddy, a buddy of mine, totally tainted the cover for me because I was like, well, at least the cover looks cool. But then he said, hey, it looks like and I'll show this to you guys. It says a giraffe is getting some very suggestive performance on him. Yeah, if you kind of see, there's a giraffe, and yeah. Yeah. Now every time I see it, I think of Giraffe Happy Time, Resident Evil 6. Now another YouTuber asked me a couple of questions. He asked me like 4 or 5 questions, but you know, he's a huge supporter of the channel. Like every time I put up something new, he's usually the first person to comment, and that's Ninja Gamer. Definitely check out his channel too. He's a really humble guy. But he was asking me what were my top 3 favorite movies and top 3 favorite bands. Now, when it comes to top 3 or, you know, breaking something down, it's really hard to answer, but my top 3 movies off the top of my head would have to be Pulp Fiction, the original Dawn of the Dead, and you guys are going to laugh at me, but My Neighbor Totoro. I love that movie. I don't know what it is, but that's such a good movie. Top 3 favorite bands? I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. I love Black Sabbath and a band from Japan called X Japan, or also known as X in the early years. And if I had to add just like an extra runner-up band, I would have to say Balzac. It's another band from Japan, and they're a perfect blend of punk and rock with some horror themes. I'll put a link below in the description of one of their latest music videos, so definitely check those guys out if you're into that sort of thing. He also asked me what were my favorite game snacks. Now, I don't really have a favorite snack when I'm playing video games. I usually try not to eat when I'm playing video games, but every once in a while if I get like a really good game and I know it's going to be a fun night, I'll buy like a case of beer and a pizza and just have, a fun night with that. I really enjoy doing that every once in a while. And he also asked if I could live in any video game world, what world would it be? And that was a good question. I really thought about this, and I was like, oh, I'd love to live in Skyrim. I'd love to live in, that'd be really cool. But then I was thinking, I was like, man, screw Skyrim. They got dragons. I don't want to sit there and be like, chilling in a village and get attacked by a dragon. I get freaked out if there's like a tornado warning or a hurricane comes. So I was thinking, what game world would I love to live in? Animal Crossing. Because, there's no worries. And, all it would do all day is play Nintendo. Sure, it'd be like the same 6 Nintendo games over and over again, but I would be able to fish, dig up fossils, go ahead and just take a Game Boy to someone over and over again and return a pair of socks. That would get kind of tedious, but Animal Crossing, definitely. And he did ask one more question. As you guys know, I am a musician. I play bass, I play guitar, a little bit of piano, I can play ukulele. But he was asking if I could play something on bass or piano. Now, my bass is actually at the practice place with our band because we have a show this Friday coming up, so I just left all the gear there. But I do have my piano, and I think I can conjure up something. These are just some of my favorite things I like to play on the piano every once in a while. Let's see if you guys can guess them. Say, everyone, everyone. Thank you very much for the support and sending the questions. And, you know, it was a really fun video to do. I got some more videos coming up very soon. Also, episode 17 of Excess Gaming Podcast is now available on Podomatic.com and iTunes. Me and my co-host James Gruesome talk about the rise and fall of video game ideas, like different fails and accomplishments that video games have had over the years. So definitely check it out. I think it was a very interesting episode. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for your support and subscribing. And as always, happy gaming.